Hey, I'm reviewing 2 episodes a week, like back to back. So let's talk about The Warrior. Beavis and Butthead are just playing with ketchup for some reason at the kitchen of the cafeteria, and it wasn't until Beavis accidentally squirted ketchup into the bully football player Steve in the eye or something, and it pisses him off, and now he wants to challenge Beavis to a fight. And Beavis is like, I don't know how to fight. And then Butthead's like, I will teach you. And so Beavis and Butthead, for some reason, they decide to meet at the gym. They're like, see ya, I'll see you in a bit. Even though they're always together. And then it's kind of like a parody of Rocky and the Karate Kid. Because Butthead makes Beavis go buy Butthead nachos. And Beavis thinks that's him tricking him into teaching how to punch. It's kind of like in the Karate Kid where Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel by making him do chores as karate. So yeah, it's like that. And it's kind of like the Rocky training. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then they keep on getting nachos, and they're not really training. And honestly, what are they even preparing for at this point? Since the bully probably it just doesn't care that he wants to fight Beavis, because Beavis now gets a bunch of just the sports equipment on him, and then he has like a hockey stick, and as shown in this photo, and he looks hilarious on it. And then the episode ends with the duo just going outside, and there's no one there, of course. The episode, I think, just ends with them fighting. And so that's The Warrior, a pretty funny episode. I'd give like an 8 out of 10. What do you think of it? So the next one is a bit bizarre. We see the return of old Beavis and Butthead. It's where they're... I think this episode's called I don't know how to say it. The Vectortonies or something. Sorry, that's cringy to say. And so Beavis and Butthead are doing community service because they were caught public urinating. Yeah, that's not good. And of course, while they're bummed that they gotta do community service, they overhear a group of mothers saying how they gave birth to their baby and are planning to have another one. And they, of course, talk about preventing pregnancy. And so old Beavis and Butthead decide they want to not have kids. They want to prevent from themselves getting pregnant or having kids. And so they go to a doctor. This is where the episode gets a little bizarre. He shows them like a little sculpture of I think you get what I'm gonna say. It's the testicles. And they even show a women's one. They're like, and they keep giggling about it, Beavis and Butthead, because they just want to see it and just laugh. And then they're like, show us a woman's one. And then he says, yeah, of course I got one. And then he shows it, and then next, Beavis and Butthead are ready to have surgery so they don't have kids. And then before they're about to get passed out for the procedure, they have little visions. This is where the episode gets interesting. We see what would it be like if Beavis and Butthead have kids. So I couldn't find a photo for Butthead, but basically Butthead envisions having kids where he's super buff and muscular, rich, and his kids are like kind of like him, and they don't even sound like Butthead. I mean, I know the voice actor is probably a kid, and it looks like I think Butthead is making out with the teacher, causing Butthead Jr. to have straight A's. And then there's also this running joke where they're just like, they get a knock at the door and they go, I wonder who that could be. It happens for both Beavis and Butthead. And we also see what it would be like if Beavis had kids, and this is where we see what they look like as kids. We get I call this Beavis Jr., Little Beavis, and Baby Beavis. I even like that picture in the frame. They even mention Legos. And then they get a knock at the door, and they're like, I wonder who that could be. And I love the line where he goes, look, it's the Buttheads. And then something spectacular happens. All the Beavises and the buttheads have a little battle. They're all fighting each other for whatever reason. Because, Beavis and Butthead are kind of a bad influence towards their kids. They're teaching them to fight each other. Their father's footsteps. Where, Butthead slaps Beavis all the time. And now, his kids are doing it. So the episode kind of ends after the vision is over. And then Beavis and Butthead are like, you know what, having kids would be cool. And then they run away with their clothes. And then and then because they had a shot in their, and the episode ends with them kicking each other in the balls, not feeling anything. So they probably damaged something. It's insane. So that episode was definitely something I was looking forward to. I was thinking, were Beavis and Butthead actually going to have kids? But, they didn't. It was just, I knew it was going to be a vision. And it was. So let's talk about the recent episode. It's called Stolen Valor. It's where Beavis and Butthead impersonate veterans. Somehow Tom Anderson is still alive, even though Beavis and Butthead are like middle-aged. And they go to the Tom Anderson's, Veterans Memorial Bar. It's Tom Anderson asks them if they're veterans. He thinks they're not veterans at first, but they're just like, They say they worked at Burger World for years, and they fought or something. They did a lot of fighting, and so that's what convinces Tom Anderson to let them walk in. And so the episode is just them drinking beer, and we get these funny jokes that actually made me laugh out loud. Where they ask the veterans ask, "What's your comrade name?" And then they say the number, and they say 69, and that's vulgar. And then some of the veterans, some of them are CSI agents, and they're like, "You're lying," but then they all get along, of course. But they also do what makes this episode even more hilarious is where Beavis and Butthead, they had to do this little flag, pull in the flag, but instead of using the America flag, they instead use the enemy's flag from Vietnam, and so they use that. And then the veterans get pissed off because, they're using the enemy's flag. And so the episode ends with all the veterans getting mad, and then they all run up and just beat up Beavis and Butthead. And call them like traitors or something. So it ends on a funny note. So that's that one. So the recent episode, Breeding Freezy, is where Beavis and Butthead decide to adopt a raccoon. So we're getting another episode with a raccoon. Last season, it was a bunch of raccoons sneaking into their house and trying to steal their food, because Beavis and Butthead never bothered to clean their house or fix their window. It all starts, for some reason they're at a dog park for whatever reason, and apparently this is what happens. They learn about something and they use that for an opportunity. A random guy vents to them about how they always praise the pretty dogs, the rich people dogs. And so Beavis and Butthead misinterpret that with, if they get two dogs to have sex, they'll get paid for it. And so they decide to go look for a dog, and they mistaken a raccoon in their trash as a bear, a cat, a dog, and the raccoon ends up attacking Beavis, and I feel so bad for him because he's getting attacked while Butthead just shoves him in the trash can, and then eventually they do trap the raccoon in the cage, and they decide to take it to the dog park, and then they're just waiting, and they're picking the dogs, which one the raccoon should have, with. And they think, oh, this one is already making out. Oh, this one is too cute or something. I don't know. And so they release the raccoon. They're trying to get it near a poodle. But instead it goes near, a golden retriever dog. And then the raccoon attacks the golden retriever. I feel so bad for the dog. I was like, oh, poor little guy. And so it ends with the owner taking his dog to the vet, and then Beavis and Butthead take the raccoon home, and they put a leash on it. They even put like a dog dish full of nachos, And the episode ends with the raccoon running away with the lamp. They also tied the leash to the lamp. So that's these recent episodes. They're quite hilarious. You should check them out. And so far, I'm liking this second season, or season 10, whatever you want to call it. And it's been confirmed they're doing a season 11. Can't wait for that. And so, my favorite one of these episodes, I would say the Beavis and Butthead Have Kids one, and then the raccoon one, and then the warrior, and then the veterans one. So that's my ranking for these episodes. I can't wait to talk about next week's episode. With that being said, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.